draft needs. Number one, it's a wide receiver because the Steelers are in a win now mentality. I don't think they take a wide receiver at 49. But I think that's where they are with Ben having 2 years left and everybody, they're going to put all their chips in. In a perfect world, they need a big play, big dynamic, large receiver to help Washington, Juju, and Deontay Johnson flourish with Ben back. I mean, that's just kind of what it comes down to in the receiving core. You got to remember though that Juju needs to bump inside for him to be at his most successful. He's not an outside guy. So maybe him and Deontay on the same side gives you a little bit of a different look. Pick 49, you're going to have Michael Pittman Jr., the wide receiver from USC. I just think that that's where they feel they need to address early. So that's a pick 49. The number 2 need for the Pittsburgh Steelers is an inside linebacker. One, because they have no depth there. They have 4 players on the roster. 2, their defense is moving towards that inside linebacker hybrid that I was talking about, inside linebacker / safety, a guy that gives you the opportunity to stop the run, but also gives you the opportunity in sub packages to stay on the field and be a cover guy. So moving on to round 4, pick number 124 for the Steelers, Anthony Jennings, the inside linebacker, I think is a perfect fit to complement Bush. He's a he's one of those sub package guys. He can play a little bit of safety, a little bit of inside linebacker for them, and gives them a little bit more depth at the position. The number 3 thing that they're looking for is a running back. Depth at the position, no confidence whatsoever in Connor, White, Samuels, and Snell. It's a shame. I think Samuels has the potential in that offense to be a really good player. Just they have not used him correctly to this point. Pick 102 in the 3rd round. I'm hoping that Clyde Edwards-Helaire drops. I really like him. Think he's a quality running back that could help the Steelers. If he's not there, I think they looked towards A.J. Dillon, the power back out of Boston College, who would rather run you over than run for a touchdown, which I'm okay with. I'd like him to just run people over. They're going to need a safety. Terrell Edmonds isn't the answer at the strong safety position. Minka is. They also don't have depth there. Again, there's only 4 players on the roster. I think the Steelers could look for a big-bodied safety that can be involved in the run game. They need somebody that's going to be a sure tackler, which they expected Edmonds to be, and he seems to be more of a shoulder tackler and not a rap guy. So be able to capitalize on them. My last 2 picks for the Steelers going into the draft, 198 and 232. Rashard Lawrence, the D tackle out of LSU, replaces the loss of Hargrave. Next, that offensive line's getting old. It really is. It's time to start rebuilding it. You need to, if you can get some guys to sit behind the starters, maybe find your B.J. Finney type who can rotate throughout. They did sign Wisniewski, so it drops. That's why it dropped the importance all the way down to 5. But you need to start rebuilding the 30-year-old plus line that you have. Next, I have in round 4, pick number 135. I have Matt Hennessy from Temple. I think that he's pound for pound one of the best offensive linemen in the draft. I just think he comes from a smaller school and in a smaller conference. the last important piece that I think the Steelers need to look for, and there's two. This is a two-parter. It's a tight end. The position's been a problem since Heath's left. We have not had stability there as a Steeler, as the Steelers organization. They haven't had stability. Durability is a question when it comes to Vance McDonald. Is he worth the $3.8 million cap hit that he's taking? And Ebron's another interesting guy, though, that it shows that there's not as much confidence in McDonald. But I think that there's a lot of things. If you can get a blocking/receiving threat that can stretch the field a little bit to help the receivers, you might not have to draft a receiver. And Thaddeus Moss at 232 in round 7, big body tight end, can stretch the field, but also gives you the tight end prototypical to a Steeler tight end, which is big, blocking, and aggressive. I think he will. I mean, a lot of projections they have him. They have him falling there, so it'll be interesting to see. Give me a second, I can give you those. I don't even think that, because he's not Randy. Yes, he's Randy Moss's kid, but he does not play the same style of football that Randy Moss played. Well, let's go down his numbers. 6'2", 250. He's predominantly a run blocker. He has tremendous hands and instinct as a pass catcher. Well, no shit. He's Randy Moss's kid. I'm assuming he knows how to catch a football. And he is really good at it. But 47 receptions, 570 yards, 4 TDs, and he's below average after contact. So no, I just don't think that he was more of a blocker, so he's going to get that silent role, and he'll fall. He'll get drafted, but he will fall to the 6th or 7th round.
At this point, the conversation turned to the Browns, and I gave my opinion on them.
With the Browns, the running back's there. The wide receivers are there. I think the quarterback's there. I think that he's a little unconventional, but he's there. All those pieces there that I just mentioned aren't going to amount to shit until the Cleveland Browns fix the offensive line. Because Baker Mayfield cannot get his brains bashed in 45 times a game. It can't happen. He cannot take the abuse. And it's not a question of his toughness. It's a question of, logically, your body sooner or later, one of those hits is going to be the hit that ends the game of football for you. Like, here's the thing I'm going to say to you. And again, it's not the hot take that Odell wants out of Cleveland. I don't think Odell wants out of Cleveland at all. I think Cleveland's the type of place that Odell Beckham knows if he's part of the turnaround, everybody talks about him for the rest of his life. And you know what? He's a damn good football player. You know, I had a conversation with my dad earlier about the, what's the test that they give? The Wellsick or Wonderlic. The Wonderlic test, right? And if you're average intelligence, you score between a 20 and a 22. And there's some people that might score like a 14, Tua. Might score an 18, Jalen Hurts. You know? But here's my question for you, both of you. Do you care if your quarterback or your wide receiver or your running back or your linebacker or whoever can tell you the square root of a billion? Does that matter? Wait, does that matter to you that he can do the square root of a billion? No. If he can catch a football and you know what? If he doesn't want to talk to the media, okay. I don't care. Go out and play football. Go catch the ball or go tackle somebody. Go earn your money and go home. You're entitled to do that. That's a job. And I think the problem is Odell's one of those people that he wants to be a little bit flashy, but he also wants to be private. And there doesn't need to be these rumors every day about Odell wants out, Odell wants out, Odell wants out. All that does is cause animosity, whether they're true or not. It puts it out into the public perception. And the guy doesn't deserve that. He's great for the community, he's great for the organization, and he's great for Baker Mayfield. Actually, but since you bring up a birthday, I will raise my beer and wish Charles Kern, for those Bison in faithful Bubbas, happy birthday, Chuck. Would have been 62.
Hello to my little friend.